4 o'clock in the morning. Man, I wish I could just lay down and go to sleep. You know, I'm getting tired. I wish I could just lay down and sleep, but I can't. My mind just, you know, I'm just an old man, and my mind just racing, and I start having all these, what you call, I guess, delusions of grandeur, where I think I'm an alien, and I think I'm something special. I think that when I leave my cocoon, I'll get wings and fly across the universe, and I must be insane. I must be. And that's the kind of shit that keeps me from going to sleep. So I sleep maybe 2 hours a night, and my mind just races. And I take no meds. I don't go to the doctor. I hadn't been to the doctor in 3 years because my family physician that I loved as a person, let my brother suffer with lung cancer. Yeah, I didn't know he had lung cancer until 2 days before he died because he was hurting so bad. I finally told him I was either going to have to send him to the hospital or I was going to put a pillow over him and smother him and put him out of his misery because he was hurting so bad, and I couldn't stand it. It was ripping me apart because I could not ease his pain. I tried. I put liniment on him. I tried helping him. I tried wiping his butt when he couldn't, I mean, he was suffering. And I tried my best to help him when what I really should have done was put him down, but that's illegal, I would have had to go to prison for it, and, I was afraid to do it. I was afraid to show mercy because nobody would have understood it. They thought I was trying to rip him off or, I had ulterior motives, but it's just like when I put down one of my animals, If I have a pet that I've had for 10, 15 years and that pet gets to suffering, you think I'm going to carry it to the vet and let them shoot it up with drugs and put it? No, I'll just carry it out in the backyard after a good meal and, I pet it for, and then when I put it down, I just take my 22 and pop. And his suffering's over, baby. He was happy right up until the end, though. I just stopped his pain. That's all I did. I stopped his pain. And that's all I want to do for y'all. I don't want to shoot you in the head or nothing, but I do want to stop your pain because it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary. All these drug wars and all this politics and all the bullshit. And to have it stolen from us by the Democrats, with their phony voting machines and their mail-in ballots, and we can't say nothing about it. Well, it will not stand, people. This is Armageddon. It's here. It's coming. Take heed. Ignore me. I really have no control over that because I have been as eloquent as I know how to be. I only have a 9th grade education. And when I was going to school, I only went 2 days a week because my daddy whooped me and made me go. I hated school with a passion, but I loved reading books. I read books. I'd read a book a day, man. But I'd skip school to do it. I read novels, philosophy, theology, adventures, I read about biographies about Lewis and Clark and Jim Bridger and Hugh Glass and, Kit Carson and Billy the Kid. And, I'm going to recommend a movie, too. It's about Billy the Kid. The title of it is Kid. And it's so good. I watched it yesterday when I was able to settle down enough to watch a movie. And, it was so good. I enjoyed it, man. It's the best Western I've seen in a long time. So if you get a chance, check it out if you're a Western fan. You know what I mean? Some people don't like them. But personally, that's my favorite kind of film. You put out a good Western, I'll beat the doors down on the theater to go theater. I'll rent cable or whatever, to get to see a good Western. But they just don't make them anymore. They're like Hostiles. Did you see that? That was a good one. I forget the plot. I think these renegade Indians attacked the frontier home, and they killed this woman's husband and all her children, but they left her because she fought back. She hid, and the one that did find her or whatever, well, she managed to put him out of commission. She hid an arrow in her clothing and stabbed him with it or something, But anyway, she escaped being killed, but she was left alone with her dead children and husband laying there. I mean, scalped and mutilated by these renegade Indians, these fucking savages, They wasn't the noble red man. No, they were drunk and they were, thieves and robbers. And, not what you'd want to associate with, even if they wasn't drunk, because they was mean. And they killed them babies like pow, pow, like my brothers will do when they get here. Not to bring up a touchy subject, but that's what the apocalypse is going to be. Everything you love is going to be slaughtered. You need to rent that movie and watch it. The name of it's Hostiles. And then rent the movie The Kid. It's about Billy the Kid and a real interesting story. Not your typical Billy the Kid tale. It's a good one. He's not romanticized, and neither is Pat Garrett. They're both, portrayed like human beings living in the real world. You know what I mean? I was impressed. They did an excellent job of making the movie. I didn't notice who the producer was, and I can't remember the stars' names, but I know their faces as well as I know my own. Because, I've seen them in other programs. It's just sometimes I have a hard time recalling everybody's name, Because I know so many. I know everybody that's ever lived, if you want to know the truth. Is it? Oh, good. I'm so glad this is Friday night instead of, it's Saturday morning. But I was afraid it was Sunday. And I was going to have to wake up, and God makes me watch those Sunday morning news shows so that I can keep my mind focused on politics and trying to save the country from the tragedy that's befallen it. And that's what it is. It's a genuine tragedy. Because if you wait till Joe Biden gets where he can't even read the cue card enough and he's already there, folks. What the old man? He's not there. Bless his heart. Don't pity him and don't cry for him. Just take him out of power, because when he dies, he'll go home to my Father. And he'll go home to the huge welcome table where we will all sit there, and Joe will be seated there with Willie and Laban and everybody. All his favorite people will be there, and he'll just join them. So if the president drops dead tomorrow, that would be a wonderful thing for him. God, what a tragedy it'll be for us. Can you imagine that fucking hyena being president? The vice president, that giggle box. She can't even appear before camera without and she's gonna run this fucking country. You better get them out of there and let Donald Trump come back because he is God's chosen president. That's how he got there. That's why he's done such a magnificent job pulling this country out of the bullshit we were stuck in, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are digging even deeper, buddy, because they're destroying this country to do it. They're just trying to turn it back and get themselves all the power they can have and give the power back to the swamp and let them play with our lives. And everything they do up there is designed to just suck us dry because we're the little people. Yeah, and they can high roll up there. They've been doing it for 47 years, Joe Biden. 47 years. That son of a bitch has been leeching on the teat of Mother America. And he's biting that titty every time he gets it in his mouth. That piece of shit. And now he's old and senile, and he won't turn loose. He won't turn loose. He's mouthpiecing for the rest of them cocksuckers. National Guard. If you see this, if you believe in your country, if you believe in your children's future, open your eyes and just look at what's going on. Don't be afraid to take control. Stand up. That way, fuck the history books, what they say. It will not be a revolution. It will be instead of, fighting a fucking civil war and a race war. No, we'll just get them corrupt bastards out of Washington and put some people up there that give a shit about our people. We'll let Donald Trump go back and run the country and bring in like-minded people that can stand up to the fucking world and cut them off from the sugar tits that America is, that we all supply. It's draining our milk from our babies. Got everybody coming here sucking on our sugar tit, and our own children are going hungry because of it and have no future and no way to get one because it's becoming a sin to be a child of mine because they are not politically correct and they are not woke and they're white and they have good jobs and they have families that they love and support, and that's too American. That's too privileged, white privilege. Well, bullshit. We work for that privilege, brother. We fight wars for it. We always have throughout history. The white man has fought wars for his God, for his country, for his power, for his privilege, if you will. It's only become a crime to do so since the kings over in Africa sold their people into slavery, and we brought them over here and turned them into slaves to work for us. And it's been so politicized and demonized by what some folks did to control the herd. To control the herd, which is what's happening to us right now. We are the slaves of this country now. The white working class that pays taxes and raises their children and, go to church on Sunday and loves for mom and daddy and, has family gatherings that are peaceful and, content and full of love. And had picnics in Lukenbach and Willie had big concert for everybody. Yeah, fuck yeah, us folks. And now we're the slaves to them because they're condemning us as racist and white supremacist just because we try to keep the steal from happening, and we failed at that because of the planned protest that were organized and forewarned. The FBI knew about it. The Secret Service knew about it. Everybody in Washington knew about it, was coming, and yet they stood down and waited for it to happen so that they could play it up and take control on account of it. And now, if you're white, you must be racist. You must be less. You must move to the back of the line. It's your turn to sit in the back of the bus, brother. We don't give a fuck what you did for this world in history. We don't give a shit how long ago the abuse was to our people, because there is not a black person in the world nowadays that is being abused like a slave, unless it's some other minority suppressing them, because white people are not allowed to do that shit no more, and wouldn't want to if they could. We got plenty of people that just need jobs. We don't have to import labor. When we imported slaves, it's because there wasn't nobody to chop the cotton. You had a farmer that had 1,000 acres of cotton to plant. Well, hell, he couldn't pick it. He had to have somebody. There wasn't no money to hire nobody. So you gathered the workers you could get, and you fed them and housed them, and, tried to take care of them. I mean, if you had to go and buy somebody on the market, because it's like going and buying a hammer, that drive nails with, because it's a tool. Well, you're not going to throw that fucking hammer on the ground and break the handle and make it where it can't work. Hell no, you're going to dry it off and put it in the shed and take care of it and, oil it and whatever it needs. You're going to make that hammer last you as long as a hammer should. If I bought somebody, if I paid my year's crop settlement to buy somebody to help me with the labor so I could make a bigger crop next year, which is what the plantation system was. You had to grow your plantation. The more slaves you had, the richer you became. But that was just like hiring people. Only difference was they wasn't given a wage. They were fed. They were clothed. They were taken to work, and they worked and did their little jobs, whether it's chopping cotton or, working in the house or tending the herd or, whatever folks did. I mean, some of them had hard jobs that we all do at times. But it wasn't, it wasn't like they play it out to be, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? There was some mean people that did some mean things to some people who got them angry for whatever reason. When the Ku Klux Klan formed and started riding the countryside, what they originally formed for, it wasn't blacks they was persecuting. It was anybody that wasn't taking care of their children, that wasn't trying to better society, that was a dredge. If he was a drunk, or if he was abusive to his children and didn't pay bills and everybody was that's who they rode against. Wasn't because of skin color, not, hell, they rode against the Jews and they rode against the blacks and the Mexicans and the Italians and the Catholics. And it wasn't just because they were black. Ku Klux Klan formed as a kind of police force that had enough strength to go out and do these things that the cops wasn't allowed to do, like The Ku Klux Klan, if it had been allowed to, there wouldn't have never been no Dillinger. There wouldn't have been no Bonnie and Clyde because the Klan would have put a stop to that shit. They just got painted as strictly racist because of that movie. What was it? One Nation or whatever it was, that D.W. Mills movie where it showed the Klan riding their horses and blah, 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 and burning their crosses and hanging folks and whipping people and nailing their nuts to a stump and setting the stump on fire and yada yada, all kinds of thoughts. Well, that's bullshit. That was taught to the modern generation by the literature. By the literature. There wasn't that many hangings of folks like that. Hell. People are so stupid and so easily manipulated. Their minds and their hearts and their spirits. And there I go, I'm preaching again. I don't mean to be. But, I'm just telling you how I see things, people. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to tell you how I see things. And you can be the judge of what you think of what I'm saying. Like I say, I only got a ninth grade education. I only went to school a couple of days a week. Because my daddy didn't try to keep me in school when he realized I wasn't going to go. Every time I left house to go to school, I'd just go play hooky, And rather than, he whooped me every day. But rather than kill me to make me go to school, he just said, come on, son. He'd take me with him, to work. And we'd go do things. He was an exterminator. And, we'd go put out advertising circulars at people's houses. And I'd go with him and he'd get what we call a termite job where, he had to go into the house and spray it off. Well, he was heavy set like I am right now. And I was a little skinny 10-year-old kid. Well, I could go under that house and spray that chemical, and, treat that house for termites. And I loved doing it. I did, because I was helping my daddy. It wasn't like I was being worked, by a parent that was taking advantage. No, I love going and helping my daddy. I love my daddy. I love my mother. I've done anything in the world for them. And would. Than that.